Hello again. In this video, we're going to look at how resources and sub-resources in the BigCommerce API are organized. A resource manages objects like products, orders, customers, banners, and blog posts, just to name a few. Resources are manipulated with HTTP requests. The resource being manipulated is identified by the URL used to reach it. The URL used to access a resource using OAuth and the URL used to access the same resource with basic auth will be different. Here are a few examples. Notice that the paths to the resources are identical from /v2 and forward. Let's take a deeper look at the products resource. The products resource will respond to a GET request with multiple product objects. The number of objects in the response can be specified using the limit parameter. If a limit is not specified, 50 objects will be returned by default. The maximum number of objects that can be returned in a single response is 250. To access the next 250 products, the object can be paginated by adding the page parameter. Instead of paginating through products, an app can alternatively use filters to request products that meet certain criteria. By using a filter like category, I can get a list of all the products in a particular category. In many cases, it is better to request a specific product by ID than to paginate or filter objects. By appending a slash and the product's ID to the URL, I can request just that product. If we look at the object and the response body, we see that some fields are objects themselves. For example, the primary image field on a product object is made up of multiple fields of its own, so the value of this field is an object. Similarly, some fields link to other resources or sub-resources. The values of these fields are the URLs of the sub-resource. For example, a product may have multiple images, and each image has multiple fields. So all image data associated to a specific product is accessed at the product's images sub-resource. Now, let's take a look at how we can modify this product. Sending a put request to the product object can modify fields on that product. For example, an app can make this product invisible by sending a put request to the product's URL. The request contains a JSON object in the body. Only the fields that are being modified need to be included in the JSON object, so the request body will only include the is_visible field and set it to false. If an app is going to create a new object, like a new product, it must post to the product resource URL. The request body must include all required fields. For a physical product, the required fields are name, price, categories, type, availability, and weight. Finally, if an app needs to delete an object, it needs to send a delete request to the specific object. This concludes the introduction to resources, sub-resources, and how to manipulate them using the BigCommerce API. Remember, documentation on these topics is published at developer.bigcommerce.com.